Hey folks, how's it going today? Josh here again. So if you guys have been following along with my YouTube community and on my Instagram, you'll notice that I've been hanging out with the Boy Scouts in the last little while. So a little bit of backstory to that. The leader of the local group, they were watching my YouTube videos to get some tips and tricks on winter camping, and then they realized I was local, so they reached out, they contacted me and asked if I'd come out and talk to the kids. So of course I said yes. I gathered up some kit, packed up a bag. I went out to visit them on a Saturday. They were working on their winter bushcraft shelters for an upcoming winter trip. So I did a little setup of a hammock setup and Baker style tent setup, showed them that. We talked about the different kind of tents and setups that I use in my videos. Then we did a Q&A. The kids loved the Q&A. I had fun with the Q&A. I think that lasted for at least a good hour. They had tons of questions, they had really good questions, so I was really pleased with that. And that was a really fun time doing the Q&A with the kids. After the Q&A, we moved over to the Bushcraft Shelters, and they just wanted me to take a look at them, see what I thought, and then they just wanted to talk about why they built what they built. There was 3 types of shelters. The first one I went to look at was a lean-to shelter, very similar to mine. They had a tarp on the roof, they had sticks on the sides to block the wind, and then at the end they can bring the tarp down over the front. So the second one I went to look at was a down tree scenario. What they did is they threw a tarp over that, threw some snow on it, and then they cut all the branches underneath the tree so that they could slide in underneath there and get protection. I took a trip underneath, slid in there. It was a little small for me, but I did get in there and it was super cozy. Then I went over to the third shelter. That was another down tree scenario, but it didn't have as many limbs on it. So what the kids did there is they leaned a bunch of sticks along the side of it and created an A-frame style shelter. And again, they threw the tarp over the top, put some snow on it, and some spruce boughs that we found in the area from some other down trees. Before I went out to see the kids, I wanted to make this whole trip memorable and a really cool experience. So what I did is I reached out to Uberleben and told them what I was going out to do, told them they had some bushcraft shelters, they had a winter camping trip coming up, and I kind of took a shot in the dark and I said, hey, is there anything you can do to make this trip memorable for the kids? And Uberleben came out big. They provided a fire steel or fair seam rod for each of the kids. They put that in the mail. I didn't get it in time for that Saturday, but when I did get it, I went out to visit them on a Monday evening. That's when they meet during the week. They knew I was coming. They didn't know what I was bringing. They knew there was something going on. And all they knew is that night they were going to practice starting a fire. Once we got the fire steels opened up and the paint scraped off, we had some cotton balls for them to light on fire. We practiced and talked about the drills of using a fire steel, and they had a blast at that. But yeah, they were lighting those fire steels. It was like Canada Day weekend. It was awesome. Anyway, I want to do a big thank you to the local Boy Scouts Club for inviting me out. It was super awesome. I had a great time with the kids. I hope they had a great time. I think they did. I also want to give a big shout out to Uberleben for providing the fire steels to the kids. They loved it. They were super excited. And I want to say thanks to that team over there for providing those. So in closing, the kids had one final message.
Thank you, Uberleben!
Yeah! I don't have a second.
Get 'em!